Hey, the subject of today's video will be rising signs. This will be a two-part video. Today will be from Aries to Virgo, and the next video will be from Libra to Pisces. Now, before I begin with the signs, let me say a couple of words in general regarding rising sign or ascendant in any natal chart. Now, the rising sign and the sign in which the ruler of that sign is placed seem to determine physical appearance more than other factors. This is in majority of cases. Sometimes sun or moon will seem to be more important, and usually this happens if the ruler of the rising sign is very afflicted or very weak. The other case is if there is another planet very close to the ascendant. In general, this other planet will not change the appearance completely, but it might influence, affect, or have an impact on the overall appearance. And of course, one must take into account that certain characteristic elements of physical appearance manifest due to heredity. A keen eye will be able to determine which is which. So basically, a rising sign is the image we project out into the world and how we may appear to others. So let's begin with Aries rising. Here, Mars is the ruler. Sun is exalted in this sign. In the tarot, card associated with Aries is the Emperor. Here it is. Now, each of the signs is divided into two main types, active and passive. As a general rule, active type may be called more masculine and the passive more feminine. In Aries, one can see two different stories. On one side, it is the restless and pushing ram, and on the other, what may seem almost as a helpless and somewhat unoriginal sheep. This sounds brutal, I know. You shouldn't take this like super seriously. Aries is a sign of short ascension, and the pure Aries type is rare. It is somewhat influenced by the following sign of the Taurus. Now, the active type of Aries is tall, muscular, and slim. Physical energy is great, but there might not be so much power of endurance. The head or forehead might be prominent or even big, and when it comes to hair, it can be somewhat reddish. Eye color can also be a little bit of a lighter brown, but these are usually, all of these physical points are hereditary usually. Nose might be long or quite big, and even when small, it has a way to stand out of the face, and most often it is a straight nose, and if it's not completely straight, it can have slight waviness to it. The mouth are usually thin, and the chin may be sharp. Body is well formed with a tendency to long limbs. Active type very rarely accumulates fat. The constitution is powerful but may be delicate. Aries governs the head and the face, and people born with this rising sign or sun sign may be prone to headaches. Their nervous system may also be sensitive. Now, the passive type of Aries rising has a more rounded head, paler skin with a somewhat timid expression. Nose might be fleshier, mouth fuller, chin less pronounced. Body might be short, physical activity is not as prominent as with the active type. Eyes can be more protruding, like those of Pisces individuals, and this type may seem to be more tolerable. Aries ascendant as well as the Aries sun is capable of initiative, but it may lack resistance and execution. They're very strong-willed and can be aggressive, also headstrong, excitable, and impulsive. Aries rising individuals may be quite intolerant. They're usually very practical, and their enthusiasm is infectious. They're very confident in their own strength. They may be somewhat accident-prone. Aries rising may not be the most original thinker. However, these people are good at diplomacy of the moment, of the emergency. When it comes to money, these individuals are generous and ready to spend, and usually quite meticulous in their conception of what is right to spend money upon. In matters of love, they can be quite conventional and even rigid, passionate, selfish, independent, active. They're not overly sympathetic or considerate. They're often very eloquent and may make popular orators as they arouse enthusiasm in their listeners. They're quick, sharp, precise in speech and usually go straight to the point. Now, Taurus rising. Here, Venus, or the lesser fortune, is the ruler. Moon is exalted in Taurus. In the tarot, card associated with Taurus is the Hierophant. Now, the passive type of Taurus may seem to be more harmonious and well-balanced. These individuals may have great sturdiness of the body with broad shoulders, relatively thick figure, probably with shorter limbs in comparison to the rest of the body. The muscular development is usually great. They may be prone to gaining weight if proper exercise is not taken. General shape of the face may be quite square with somewhat flat planes and have an expression of stubbornness and endurance. And this may indicate great force of character capable of withstanding any difficulties life throws at them. The hair in the eyes are usually dark, and the expression of the eyes is soft and affectionate, of course, when they're not angry. Nose might be short and fleshy, the mouth large and well-shaped. Lips are very often full and voluptuous. Chin is strong and the jaw is square. Neck can be quite short. Overall image of these people combines great mildness with great strength. In the active type, the aggressive qualities are accentuated. Individuals with Taurus rising may be self-indulgent and somewhat lazy, have a strong will and a certain harshness in their features. They can be very patient, calm, and able to withstand long sufferings, but a very small cause of irritation may throw them into fury, which can make them very dangerous. And mostly, usually, they are quite pleasant people. Now, Venus softens their brutality in a way, and with the influence of the exalted moon, it pushes their natural tendencies towards sensuality. They can be naturally more slow and heavy in their movements. They're creatures of physical habits. The strength is above average, and endurance can seem almost superhuman. The Taurus governs the throat, so these individuals may be very sensitive to this part of the body. They should avoid too many fats, spicy foods, and heavy amounts of alcohol. Moderation in everything should be practiced, as they are prone to excesses, to excess, not excesses, to excess in every direction. Taurus rising may show difficulties in starting things. It does not show much initiative. Loyalty and fidelity are quite characteristic for these people. Now, people with Taurus rising are soundly constructive but exceedingly cautious. They have good sense of beauty and their aspirations are strong, though they might insist proceeding step by step. In regards to money, they're trustworthy. Usually they're not a spendthrift, and they might be seen as conservative financier. They should be, or at least be seen as a warm-hearted, patient, and they have great self-control. And it may almost seem as it is impossible to make them angry, but once angry, they might break out into violent and dangerous manner. Now, Gemini rising. Here, Mercury is the ruler. The sign is airy and mutable, lacking in stability, so the planet Mercury will almost always be influenced by some other planet in a way that the type is constantly and radically varied. In the tarot, the card associated with Gemini is the Lovers. Now, it might be very difficult to find the pure type of Gemini rising. These people are somewhat small, rather slim, generally blonde. They may have light or light brown eyes, pale complexion, but even a very slight planetary influence may change any of these indications. Now, one characteristic is, however, almost always present, and that is the alertness and the activity which is pronounced in the eyes and in the body. Another marked characteristic is seen in the mouth, which are usually small with rather thin lips. Nose may be long and generally aquiline. All of these points give somewhat of a bird-like face, which is marked characteristic of the influence of Mercury. They also might have unusually long arms and fingers. The overall health is quite good. Gemini rising is almost entirely dependent on his nervous system, which can be quite sensitive. These people may also have problems with lungs, hands, arms, shoulders, and the nerve centers. The activity of Gemini rising needs the right kind of direction, because if the mind is not kept busy with useful and uplifting work, it will occupy itself with useless and detrimental thoughts or ideas. Moral education may be quite important to these people. The mind is not wicked in itself, but under temptation, it might make all the difference whether there is any principle in one to prevent mind from working in inappropriate or unethical ways. And the childishness is also very common in the nature of these people. Now, the mind usually works logically and accurately on a given subject, produces the conclusion, and presents it with a perfect confidence. It also has the power to combine, to perceive the relations between all sorts of things and produce results, which may appear original. Extreme freedom of thought and speech might be seen in Gemini rising. They also so busy thinking they may actually never stop to think. They appear like that. If the surroundings don't suit these individuals, they change them or they adapt very quickly. Now, in money matters, Gemini rising may not be super reliable. Also, true family life may not be very much for them. It doesn't appeal to them. Usually, Gemini rising has no strong inclination to travel, but it is very likely to do so as soon as the opportunity arises. In the management of public affairs, Gemini rising may be very good administrator. In marriage, they may be friendly and useful partner. They love diversity and are by nature flirtatious. Now moving on to Cancer rising. Moon is the ruler here and Jupiter is exalted. In the tarot, the card associated with Cancer is the Chariot. Now, the active and the passive types characteristic of Cancer are more clearly differentiated than any other sign. Active types have more aquiline face and their head may appear longer. The complexion is reddish or flushed. Eyes are piercing. Mouth are usually thin and firm. Chin is pointed. Body may be relatively large and something about their appearance may look clumsy. The strength is great, but they may be prone to illnesses due to self-indulgence. Now, passive type is at the fullest influence of the water element and the sign ruler, the moon. Head may appear to be large with broad forehead. The face is round and flat. Complexion is pale. Mouth are large and sensual. Nose is wide and may be turned up. The eyes are also large with prominent arched eyebrows, which give an expression of calm and quiet curiosity. Now, hair may be lighter, but if darker, it is very dark, straight, and it doesn't have to be very glossy. Limbs are rounded and somewhat short. In later life, both types tend to become more fleshy, even when this doesn't manifest in youth. The weakest point may be their indigestion, and physical laziness may also be seen. However, bursts of energy are quite frequent. Cancer rising likes sweet foods and condiments, so moderation is advised. If they're wise in the selection of their diet, these people should enjoy excellent health after they reach adolescence. Otherwise, there may be some problems with asthma, bronchitis, loose coughs, gastric disturbances, stomach ulcers, weak digestion, kidney complications. These individuals do not expect to gain their ends immediately. Rejections and refusals do not worry them as it is all part of the business. Cancer rising does not attack effects. He seeks causes and undermines them. The work is always accomplished. The vision of these people is usually idealistic. They think in large units of time and space, and there is a tendency to a romantic or the poetic view of the universe. These people may tend to live in sensation and emotion, and spiritually they also may be very well developed. They're usually bound by conventions and can also be very suspicious. They do love history and antiques and are known to have very good memory. They may be very easily influenced by those who they love. These individuals are not frugal with money and finances. Now, Leo rising. Here, Sun, the giver of all life, is the ruler. And tarot card associated with Leo is the Strength. Here it is. Their physical appearance is usually quite proportional. Head is neither too long nor too broad. The forehead is clear. The hair is usually light, sometimes reddish. The eyes are commanding in expression. They may be prone to premature baldness, especially frontal. Nose is well formed, straight. There may be a slight tendency towards aquilinity. Mouths are small and well shaped, chin more square than pointed. General shape of the face might be more square than oval. The body in youth is rather elegant, later may become more robust because activity hardens into strength. Limbs are well proportional. There may be very prominent what is known as leonine expression in these individuals, which can be seen in their hair, broad shoulders, and slenderness of hips. Vital organs, nerves, and muscles are highly developed and balanced in function. The recuperative powers are strong, and they are able to fight even the most serious disease and with courage and confidence. Now, heart is the strongest and the weakest point at the same time, and there also may be some problems with the back, circulation, throat, and the reproductive organs. Now, the character of Leo rising is bold and confident. They may be very noble in nature, may even value glory more than material benefits. These individuals may be easy to be deceived. They are sympathetic with the sufferings of others. Leo rising is somewhat prone to anger and to excess of pride, may be very excitable. In money matters, they are generous and may expect generosity in return. They do not like stinginess. When thinking about money, it is mostly in large, round sums. Leo rising likes to possess money, recognizing it is useful as a force, especially for the higher purposes of life. He is eloquent in speech and writing, frank and direct, usually addresses to the heart rather than to the mind. His optimism may be very dangerous. Family is somewhat important to Leo rising, and he gets well with them. In love, he's rather conventional, being loyal to his idea of an oath or promise. Danger and adventure may also appeal to him. Overall understanding is more passionate rather than intellectual. Now, these people possess the power to generalize, to arrange the information, extracting the heart of it all and making it manifest. They can also be very creative. Now, moving on to Virgo rising. Here, Mercury is the ruler, and the tarot card associated with Virgo is the Hermit. Now, their physical appearance will usually be modified by planetary factors, as is the case with Gemini rising. The earthy type of Virgo rising is somewhat bigger, while the Mercurial type is smaller, and there is no big contrast between the active and the passive type. So earthy type might have more wider or overall larger head. The nose may have wider nostrils. Eyes are clearer and smaller. The mouth is also small and thin. Body may either be bigger or smaller, that depends. And hair is crisp or wavy. Now, the Mercurial type of Virgo rising has smaller stature, well proportioned and active. Head shape may be long, features small, tending to a slightly feminine delicacy. Hair and eyes are usually lighter. The nose is straight and small and also has a little bit of a wider nostrils. Mouth are similar. Health disorders may be seen in the bowels, the solar plexus, lungs, and the nervous systems. These individuals are usually very sensible about their health. They're temperate, with no strong temptation to abuse pleasures. Quiet, regular, and active life seem to suit them best. Naturally, they're inclined toward thinness. Now, Virgo rising is extremely practical, and the aims are usually influenced by some material advantage. Noticeable is the love for order and arrangement. These people have a lot of patience and good foresight. The tendency for Virgo rising is to talk more about what is right and what is wrong rather than a feeling. These individuals may not very well understand the rational human passion in others. They're steady and patient workers and can be highly critical. In money matters, Virgo rising is very constructive, accurate in his accounts, and inclined to pay much attention to every detail. They usually like a bargain. In the family life, they're calm, usually do not provoke trouble, nor do they easily respond to it. Virgo rising dislikes the change and usually likes to be at home. In love, these people are not especially affectionate nor passionate, but they could make excellent partners in business and in marriage, as they usually do not seek to dominate and are diligently attended to small comforts and conveniences. The friendships are frequently intimate and durable, sometimes may be broken due to divergence of view. They can distinguish false from true with relative ease and the real from the seeming. And these people are not easily carried away by ideas. I think that is it. So let's finish today's video by saying that the general characteristic of a rising sign will naturally be mostly modified when a strong planet of the opposite nature occupies the sign. Appearance of an individual's details of feature, complexion, size, and proportion, as these contribute to general appearance and even character, depend to a considerable extent upon other factors than the zodiac. The modifications caused by rising planets or by the ruler of the ascendant sign. Now, every planet contributes its work. So this is all for today. I will be seeing you again in a couple of days. I want to thank you for watching, and bye.